There is the nice lady's voice letting us know that another session of high vibe channeling has begun again on this September 25th. Today, we get a message that the future Pleiadians are excited to bring, which is rather unusual. Not them being excited per se, but the fact that they wanted to channel for the group as opposed to doing their little snippet today, and it all flowed naturally to open up so they could do so. So I'm just going to let them do their piece because I'm not kind of, I'm really curious to hear what they have to say about widening cracks about our world. And we thank you, humans, for bringing your attention to this particular frequency so we may all exchange information and our vibrations with each other and establish a co-creative unity for this group to proceed into its next phases and into the video realm, of course. Now, everyone in this group and on your planet is aware that things are rather crazy right now. But the thing of it is, you have no idea how crazy it is. Because if you think of and of course you have all felt this, the feeling of unrest, it is pervasive. It is amongst all of your societies, and it is not fading. It is gathering strength, and it is causing a lot of uncertainty and a lot of anxiety. And a lot of it is in the places which you are not aware of. Now, the powers that be, we will say, which are controlling your 3D planet in many ways, are, to put it bluntly, scared shitless. For indeed, their mechanics that they have used for decades to control and manipulate and build leverage and to utilize their gifts of resources to further their own aims, often at the expense of others. Those are failing. So their network is not performing as it has before. The expected returns on their investments of control and power, and in some ways financial, are not coming to fruition. And worse yet, they cannot see them improving. They have cast doubts upon themselves. And those doubts from that top, from those order makers who are not order takers, those affect all of their structures. So all of their management teams are feeling that nervousness, that unsettling, and it affects everything. Because that is the vibration of the earth. That is the vibration of the ascension. It is made to shake those things loose. It is made to have those low vibrational behaviors be shaken off. And they will fall. They will fall. Now, there are always going to be challenges, but this is just one small aspect. For if you imagine how the spans of control for those oligarchs, your massive corporations, they are stretched with tendrils across many countries, continents. But as they weaken, those bonds fade, they get tested, and they break. And then chaos ensues within the organization because there are too many fires to put out, and no one is sure exactly how to do so. And their ways of manipulating the general populace are not as effective as they once were. And the people who they trusted have grumblings amongst them and are making their own plans of their own devices and not so much interested in following orders, except, of course, to stay out of trouble. Now, that is just one aspect. The governments also are flipping. You have seen many examples of this, perhaps not in your controlled media of the United States. But if you look around the world, there are millions of people who are objecting to the low vibrational and abhorrent behaviors of individuals and countries and armies. It is all over. And that is being felt all over in the United States as well, Australia, South America. There are many, many changes. And in Russia, because that information is not going to be released to you. But there are grumblings. Things are not going so well. And as things go poorly at the bottom rungs, then that echoes up. And the people at the top can no longer stay silent and ignore all of that because the rumblings are too great. And that too adds to the nervousness, to the unsettling. Now, there is also shakeups in the Orient which are coming forth. For there are secret societies which are dealing with what you would consider the racier or the seedier parts of your society. The sex trade, the financial manipulations, the relationships which are railed against but are perpetrated in private. Even perhaps drug rings amongst some of the elite. For the Epstein files, as you guys know them, occur all over the world. Lots of countries and leaders are watching to see how this shakes out, to see what information is released and how it is kept under wraps. For many in the elite circles already know, and they will do what they can to protect that information, of course, but that will also lead to their undoing. For all of this unsettling energies creates errors, creates mistakes, because that is the nature of things. These cracks are widening. The gaps between reality and what is portrayed are becoming clearer. For the distance between them is too great to hide. You cannot pretend that it does not exist any longer. The stark reality of a truer reality and not a perceived reality which is portrayed in the media and by various groups, which does not adequately reflect or accurately reflect the ascension which is underway. Now, there are also changes in your religions which are coming. It is no secret for decades the number of worshipers who claim to be of a specific major sect have been decreasing. And there are religious buildings which are being utilized for other purposes, for there are no bodies to fill them. Now, before the church had survived with scandals, but more of those will come to bear. And those who are claiming to be following the covenants of Scripture will be outed if they are not. And if they worship other beings or use their posts for control or political gain or to further their own personal interests, they will be cast down. Now, all of this will not take place in a short period of time, but it is part of the major shakeup, which causes all of those structures to fail because they have never worked. They have only perpetrated humanity to get to this point where that energy could be released, where it would finally be used up and take its last gasp and go falling into those widening cracks. Your monetary systems are also going to have some surprises. There will be ups and downs, not necessarily related to stocks, but there are irregularities which will come to light, as well as people doubting what the media says, because information will come to light that they find out that individuals will find out was known and never disclosed. And we're not talking about the sex files. There is a great many surprises in store, but be advised that the cracks are widening. They are not finished. It is truly waking up your entire world to action, to heart-centeredness, and that is displayed around your planet in many, many ways, in many, many countries. Although you may not be aware of it, but that unrest is occurring in the structures, and the cohesiveness is occurring amongst the people, and that love will change the way your society works and looks and operates and deals with each other. Now, your planet is also getting ready to shake things up. And you may experience more surprises in your skies and in your land. But there will be opportunities for societies and local geographic areas to come together, for there will be more disasters. And it will too act to unify the world. For as these things happen, vibrations are activated. And there are so many beings who are contributing their energy to this that it is coming to a head. And you are all aware of the open contact of 2027. And this is all part. You have to get to that stage, that vibrational level, that platform where you can safely interact. And the removing of the dead weight of all of your social, governmental, education, religious, financial structures will lift your planet. It will help to reform and fill in those gaps with love, with qualified individuals who are bent on service to others. That will also become a norm. For people will feel more of an obligation to take care of one another, and not because others have not taken care of them or done them a disservice in your eyes, but because that will be the unity of the individuals. You will feel a fellowship. Now, we cannot explain that to you, how you could see someone and think of them as you do when you see a good friend. But there will be that smiling unity, that knowing which passes between individuals, that things are changing, that things are getting better. And it will be on the tips of everyone's tongue because it will be so new and exciting. And the changes will come fast and furious. More good things will be heard than the other things, which are viewed as not so good. Can you imagine having all of these positive changes and discoveries and technologies flooding your airwaves, amping up, lifting hearts, setting hope for the future, and resolving a lot of these serious issues which are threatening millions on your planet now? Now, we have rambled on quite a bit, and we have covered a lot of ground, but there is a lot of earth to cover. But we did want to let you know about that everything is going according to plan. And when stuff really gets crazy, yes, it is not as crazy as it will be. You will know that you are closer to all of that debris falling in those widening cracks, and you can build over it and help restore the earth and confidence of people in it and their government or their other sources of support in a wholesome, more dignified manner that is authentic and open. For there will not be a reason to hide. And we come to you with the close of our little speech, soliloquy, message to see if you have questions which we may search for and render an answer.
Greetings.
And to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful message. I personally look forward to being surprised. um, I'm not sure to what extent you would be able to answer this question, but how does the Earth ascension and all these changes affect the civilizations that live off the planet, as in the breakaway civilizations?
Well, we will ask you or phrase it like this. Let's say you really wanted to take a vacation to this particular spot, and you had been looking forward to it for a number of years, and the opportunity arose. And then you found out that it was being redone, and it was going to be even more miraculous than before, and it was going to open up just in time for your trip. That is where you are now. That is where those beings are now. They have scheduled and they are watching. They are observing. They are supporting. They are guiding. They are nudging forward and putting impulses in to help propel humanity to that vibrational state of acceptance of other energies. So that is a huge party. That is the ascension. They are all waiting because they cannot come in until the gates are open. and the gates open automatically, but they're vibrationally sealed. And once that gate clicks, it will be the most loving Black Friday rush of humanity that you have ever imagined. And everyone will be polite and loving. There's plenty to go around. But that is the excitement. And the, the all of those beings are already celebrating. For that is the nature of being outside of time in ways. Is you get to do all of the celebrating first, and then you get to help make everything else get there in your own special way. Because every time that you make a decision or you make a thought that impacts a realm, it creates a new. So all of that loving support is done on purpose with a heart, hearts in some cases. But it is part of a plan that we as spacefaring races have all bought into. And that will make more sense as humans become ready for such adventures. For there is a natural flow of things, and what you experience of it in your planet, in your lives, is a one type of flow. There are several, and you can ride that current of love to different destinations, we will say. But it all starts with love.
So we'll keep the word party and see how things unfold.
We recommend that you do keep that and have lots of those, for you will indeed have multiple reasons to celebrate all over the globe. And keep in mind, you did choose this version of reality. There were other ones which you also inhabit, but this is the one where you chose to experience this. All of you. We're glad you're here.
We're glad we're here and you're here, and it's all very exciting. Thank you.
And again, we thank all of you for being such wonderful hosts of perspective and encouragement and information. For indeed, our desires for obtaining as many different perspectives on the ascension and open contact have been going exceedingly well. We have found many, many different individuals other than this channel who have allowed us to bring forth other beings so that we may solicit their expertise or perspectives as we desire as well. And you are all part of that. And we thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us this evening. As we are becoming more aware through the things that are happening, could you give some guidance on when people come to you for questions, or if you feel the need to speak to someone, could you give some guidance on that?
We can give you a lot of guidance on that. The first thing that we recommend, ask them how they feel. And they ask you the question, ask them how they feel. That will force them back to make sure what they are saying is what will aid them and not just parroting something that may have come to them through outside sources or something along those lines. Because there will be many who have questions. Many, many. And you have all sent up little signal flares saying, when you have questions, I can help you. Now, they may not have been so conscious, but you have made your point and you have made your network. And those pathways will lead others to your door because they know where to go. They intrinsically know where to go now. Those connections have been made. And they may even be slightly aware of that and then say how silly that is. That, oh, when something happens, I need to go talk to Mr. Miles because I know he's been doing this stuff for decades. And they will say, where the hell did that thought come from? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever thought of. But they know in their heart it is real. And that will happen to all of you. And of course, you are already experiencing it in some ways. But people they tend to be shy about such things. It is like somebody told them if they touch this cactus, it will really hurt them. And they really want to touch it. So they're so timid and they're hesitant. And then they poke their finger out a little bit. And then they finally touch it. And they get a little bit of that experience so they can reconcile what the other person told them with their own personal experience. And that is kind of what people are doing. It will come in phases. They have to be glided into it. Now, there are going to be some harsh lessons. And for those who are unprepared, it could be even harsher. But yes, do prepare for aberrations in your normal routines. So, and this is not so much as a scare tactic, but do be prepared to have water and food and medical supplies. And this is not so much for you, but so you have those, so you can be of service to others in their time of need. That is loving. That is community. That is your divine path. So if you have those resources available, you can set up and make a bed for 5 people in case they might lose their home or something along those lines. To think in terms of preparedness. Now, it is not doing that to bring in such actions, but merely by expressing that loving gesture, you will be in a place of heart service. You will be able to make those bonds which will help build the new humanity, the new earth, and lead to open contact. So besides asking them how they feel, you can also ask them how they think about what they ask. That will help give you a basis of where they are coming from. And it will help you gauge how you need to structure your response. Some people will be expressing lots of fear, anxiety, doubts, because they have nothing to compare a lot of this to. Because the people and events that they had built their identity on in ways will fall out from under them and leave them wondering who they are and what their role is and where do I go from here. And while you will not be able to answer all of their questions, just being able to be authentic and answer what you can will help them. And then they will in turn help others because they will lead others not only to you and your wisdom, but they will also carry a raised vibration, which will affect those in their circles. And do not fret about what you will respond, because you have ample help, and the words will be there. The frequency will be there. You merely need to supply the opportunity and the authenticity for that message to come through. We have great faith in all of you. And we say that as a larger multitude. For indeed, there is a happy ending to this story. And you are writing it, and we are reading it, and we are waiting for the next chapter. It's very exciting.
So I have a couple of questions. So my wife and I have pretty much hunkered down, and we are very cognizant of whatever we let into our lives. And specifically, I'm talking about news and media. We get almost none, and that's the way we prefer it, so that we're not dragged from pillar to post with our emotions. However, we're also finding that we're more challenged in our personal lives, called more to personal growth and confronting our limiting ideas and limiting beliefs than we ever have before as well. Can you comment about that?
Yes, we can, but you're going to like the answer. As you proceed further and further into fourth density, you shake loose 3D. So all of those things which are based in that 3D linear space-time are not as important any longer. At one time, they were utmost important. But those have changed, and you have changed. And you are now looking at fine-tuning your Earth experience, for you have set about doing all that you have come to do, but you are enjoying this trip so much, you just don't want to leave. And you have accepted more roles. You have come a long way in your ability to provide insight and answers and energetic support to others. And that is your real purpose at this point. And with that goal in mind, whether conscious or not, you strive to do that to the best of your ability. And you have this belief that to do that to the best of your ability, you must continue to work on yourself. When in fact, yourself is pulling you into a higher vibrational range and trying to get you to stop working on yourself and broaden the self you identify with so you can work on that self.
Oh my gosh, that's just wonderful news. Okay, well,
We
and very
warned you.
exciting.
We warned you.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And my second question is, how long before we have to wait before the celebration starts?
Why would you wait at all? Get that frequency going now and keep it going for 2 years and try not to burn out.
Okay.
The celebration never needs to wait. You can celebrate I've taken another breath. I have managed to feed myself. There are millions of things to celebrate about you and your humanity and your Earth collective. Now, you can, if you would like, go through and just find all of that good information. But we just urge you to celebrate and have gratitude for what is you and what is around you, which is you. And that does sound corny and a bit of a cliche. But we are all celebrating because we know how it ends. We see humans in space. We coordinate trips together. We plan visits to other civilizations and star systems. But you guys cannot wrap your minds around making those kinds of decisions. Yet. But it's coming. That is where you're stretching your minds and raising that vibration really, really impacts what you experience because it gives you many more options. Your elevator, instead of going up and down, will go in 24 different ideal directions. And you can punch floors and go on any of them. And they all lead to exciting growth and expansion.
Let the party begin.
Let the party begin. Well, let the party never end, for that is more of a true statement. And thank you for sticking around to make sure that everyone has a good time.
Great. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure.
And you are a fun and open crowd. No wonder we chose to come before you. And if you have had enough of our interlude into your time of day, then we will leave you to your next period of time, and we will return the channeler to his normal vibrational state. We will say. And he enjoyed that too. So thank you all, fine people, for allowing us to share and co-create with you. And may all your vibrations be uplifting so others notice and are uplifted too. And we receive. Good morning. Fun. Wow. They sure did touch base on some stuff. The stuff about Russia was really effing interesting. I'm not sure what all came through, but yeah, there's some. It would be unusual in the past for anybody to question something that their superior up even above that level would ever say, even if they disagreed with it. I mean, they might, mention a best friend or something, but now there's more open grumbling and that kind of stuff. And that I mean, I'm sure all of you have felt that unsettling. It's just the vibrations are new and the old ones are not as sturdy in some ways, I think. My interpretation. I'll have to listen to theirs again. I know they covered a lot of ground, but
Yes.
and this I'm still trying to piece it together, but there's going to be some sex rings and drug use among some religious leaders, and all kinds of stuff's going to go on. Well, it's going to come to light. It's all been going on. But that's cool. People have had enough. I'm liking it. Oh, I missed that, Arla.
The energy has shifted extremely to actually a more peaceful is not the term, but settled as far as what's going to happen. And it's almost like the energy says, or the universe says, things will be as they should be. And I know when I hear that, it just lets me know that things are falling into place, things that we may not see, because it is not the things the media is definitely going to cover. But it's all over, people talking about that, and how there has been this shift in how it was like it was hopeless. What can I say to change all of these things that are happening here in this 3D world? And am I supposed to even be delving into that? You know, and the truth of the matter is we are in the 3D world. And so for me to not speak out is being complicit. It's how you speak out that's very, very important, that you know that what you're speaking is something that needs to be shared. And it's really odd. I saw somebody talking today about the shifts in power. And it was, and I asked the grandmothers about that, and they were saying that power is crumbling. Power is just a word that someone has created to induce control, because whoever has the most power is supposed to have the most control. And there's a balance happening. You've got this one side or one group of people or whatever that are wanting to wipe our history away. And then you've got these others that are putting up monuments now in a good way to our history and the things that have happened. And so there's this balance. That pendulum is still doing its swing. And I don't know, I get so excited when I start getting those types of things, and then you have several other people that are saying the same thing that you got, and that's where we're going everyone staying in their heart and speaking about those things that should not happen. If you are a compassionate person, loving and kind, then there are things that are going on that are going to literally hurt your heart. And you can speak out about those things. It's just important how you do it.
It's like we're all standing on the edge of a giant sinkhole and we're just waiting for it to stop so we can go in and remediate it.
Yeah. But it's a good sinkhole.
Absolutely. We got to get all that rubble out.
Yeah.
And